Don't scroll. Today, the witch is watching your screen right now. God says, I needs to talk to you, and it has to be right now. Don't you dare ignore this and make me angry. Of this now before it's too late. My beloved child, your breath just paused because your spirit recognized this voice. Your room looks the same, yet the air around you has shifted like a curtain pulled aside. A presence sits between your heartbeat and the glow of this screen, and nothing about tonight is ordinary. The witch who has followed your shadow is near your signal and your window. She pressed her ear to the seam of your name earlier and tried to memorize your fear. She believed you would break if she replayed your worst memory on a loop. You did not break, and that is what unsettled her. Your spine learned the language of storms, and your soul learned the mathematics of mercy. You are still standing, which means heaven is already in motion. Do not close this message, because your timing is the key and the lock at once. I am weaving instructions into your breath, and your breath is obeying. The next 3 minutes will decide how the next 3 months unfold. You felt invisible hands around your ankles earlier like vines tugging. That was a test of consent to despair that you did not sign. Now I move in with fire that knows your name better than any curse. The witch watched your old photos and smiled at the one where you were almost defeated. She thought replaying that moment would reopen the gate of grief. She forgot that memory becomes a weapon of light when I touch it. I have seen the threads of your life tied to numbers, rooms, and passing glances. I have seen the message you nearly sent and the apology you never received. I now fold that pain like paper and turn it into a blade of purpose. Your silence has been misread as surrender by those who love noise. Your quiet has been misunderstood by those who call chaos power. Yet your quiet is a temple where I write new commandments for your future. Listen with the skin between your ribs. There is a knock in the distance that rings without sound. It is the call of what you prayed for, running toward you in shoes of lightning. The witch believes night is her element, but I built the night. She believes mirrors are her allies, but I poured the first glass. She believes names are her toys, but I invented alphabets and breath. You were not random when you found this message. You were guided by the path I drew like chalk on the floor of time. Each footstep you took today landed on an invisible promise. Your enemies met in whispers and traded your name like a coin. They thought your favor could be bought and your destiny could be pawned. They did not account for the vault I keep around your purpose. You thought the delay meant denial, but delay meant design. You thought the silence meant absence, but silence meant architecture. I was laying stone that your eyes could not yet see. Your phone glitches and the screen brightens for a reason. Your pulse thunders because your spirit recognizes your season. The witch trembles because she hears the decree leaving my mouth. I strip the hooks she buried in your sleep. I return the tears she withdrew from the banks of your trust. I restore the hours she ate from the table of your joy. Take a deep breath like you are drawing a sword from water. Let your shoulders fall like gates opening in the rain. This is how strength sits down inside you and decides to stay. At noon they doubted you, and at evening they laughed. They measured your life with rulers of rumor. I snap those rulers and rewrite the measures in your favor. You remember the dream where a window would not open. Tonight I remove the nail from that stuck frame. Fresh wind, enter now and carry out what never belonged. You will notice small signs like crumbs left by angels. The song that repeats in a shop will echo your promise. The stranger's kindness will arrive exactly on the minute you needed it. I address your money and I address your name. I address the paperwork and the passwords. I address the delays and the doors that claim to be locked. The witch called herself inevitable, but inevitability belongs to me. She called herself permanent, but permanence is my language. She called herself final, but I authored endings and then wrote epilogues. You thought the weight on your chest was forever. It was only a visitor who overstayed. I evict it now with a royal stamp. Your ancestors prayed the prayer you are living tonight. They saw your face flicker like a candle in the future. They asked that your light would not bow to wind or whispers. I remember the night you almost canceled your miracle. You stood at the sink and counted reasons to walk away. I placed a reason inside your ribs that pulled you forward again. You did not imagine the footsteps in the hall last week. You did not imagine the corner of your eye noticing motion. You sensed interference, and your spirit was correct. I cancel the surveillance that slithers through envy. I blind the eyes that seek you with dirty intention. I confuse the tongues that practice your downfall for sport. Your house receives a circle of protection tonight that cannot be cut. Your devices receive a firewall of favor that cannot be hacked. Your mind receives a clarity that cannot be counterfeited. This is how you will sleep tonight, like a shield made of velvet. Dreams will speak in rivers and show you the map. You will wake with names and steps that feel like morning. The witch will try once more with a message that imitates concern. She will paint her voice with sugar and call it guidance. You will taste the bitterness underneath and walk away. I give you the courage to disappoint manipulative expectations. I give you the boundary that says no without apology. I give you the focus that keeps your eyes on the road of gold. Your hands are instruments that remember their assignment. They will sign what must be signed and release what must be released. They will hold what must be held and refuse what must be refused. I call your health into alignment like stars taking positions. I call your blood and breath into rhythm. I call your bones to remember they are architecture, not rubble. You are allowed to be new after tonight. You are allowed to release the costume that never fit. You are allowed to outgrow the room built for your smaller self. I scatter the meeting planned against you at a table of smoke. I turn their agreements into ash that stains their fingerprints. I reroute the opportunity they tried to hijack and deliver it to your door. Your name rises on the wind like incense in a high room. It lands in ears that can open gates you once only imagined. Favor walks ahead of you like a herald with a silver trumpet. I redeem your time like coins found under old floorboards. I return your laughter like a lost key that still fits the lock. I crown your morning with answers and your night with rest. The witch used mirrors to bend your reflection into doubt. I shatter those mirrors and hand you a window that faces sunrise. You will recognize yourself again without distortion. There is a letter with your future already written in light. It floats above your days like a banner that never tears. I lower it now and place it over your shoulders like armor. You will notice an old fear that tries to visit out of habit. It will knock like a salesman selling regrets. You will not buy, because I already paid. Your feet have walked on coals and learned not to burn. Your eyes have watched storms and learned not to blink. Your heart has listened to thunder and learned to sing back. I erase the word almost from your story. I replace almost with already. I replace maybe with marked. The witch hid needles inside compliments and waited for you to bleed. I remove every needle and heal every puncture of your trust. You will not leak joy anymore when you are thanked. Your creativity returns like rain to dry fields. Your ideas stand up like soldiers answering roll call. Your voice remembers its thunder and refuses to whisper. I finish the chapter where you survived. I begin the chapter where you thrive. I publish the testimony that will feed others the way you needed once. Consider this the night your room learned a new name. What was once a hiding place becomes a launch pad. What was once a pause becomes a procession. The witch will write your name in chalk at the edge of a circle. Rain will arrive before the chalk can dry. Your name will slip from her ritual and swim toward my altar. I send restoration to the relationships that deserve to stay. I send distance to the connections that drain your light. I send discernment so you can tell the difference without fear. You will receive a message with good news that feels like a window opening. You will receive an invitation that aligns with your secret blueprint. You will receive a release from the false obligation that kept you heavy. I authorize your next yes and sanctify your next no. I anchor your values so no current can drag you. I hold your chin gently toward the horizon that belongs to you. Your city will feel different under your feet. Streets that once swallowed hope will return it in echoes. Corners that once collected shadows will spill with morning. I speak to your finances with authority that does not expire. I expose the leak and seal it. I multiply the seed and protect the harvest. I command your sleep to be a throne and not a battlefield. I command your phone to carry announcements of favor and not crisis. I command your door to entertain visitors of peace and not chaos. The witch relied on your exhaustion like dry wood for her fire. I pour rain on the pile she gathered from your sighs. Her spark turns to steam and her chant turns to silence. You grew up fast to survive and forgot how to receive. I teach your hands to accept without flinching. I teach your eyes to expect without bracing for impact. Your inner child steps out from the corner and breathes. I give them crayons of sunrise and paper made from clouds. They draw a house called safety and move in. The world has tried to rename you many times. They tried victim, and it fell off. They tried problem, and it slid away. I call you vessel, because you carry what survives fire. I call you lighthouse, because you do not apologize for shining. I call you covenant, because promises sit on your shoulders like kings. Your future is knocking in a rhythm only you recognize. It sounds like your laugh returned at full volume. It sounds like keys clinking against a new door. Take the next step as if the ground has pledged allegiance to your purpose. Sign the paper as if ink learned your story by heart. Enter the room as if light rehearsed your arrival. The witch fades because revelation makes predators transparent. She shrinks because love makes disguises dissolve. She retreats because authority makes shadow surrender. Tonight ends an era of almost and nearly. Tonight begins a calendar of done and delivered. Tonight writes a banner across your sky that reads secured. Stand how kings stand when they remember their crown. Breathe how oceans breathe when they meet the moon. Walk how promises walk when they finally have feet. Your miracle is not late, it is precise. Your relief is not weak, it is gentle and total. Your turn is not loud, it is sovereign and unmistakable. I seal this right now on the doorway of your hour. I seat you in peace that does not wobble. I send you forward with favor that does not fade. The witch watches and learns that she is not author here. She observes and realizes that her page ends where yours begins. She disappears into a night that no longer recognizes her name. You will sleep, and the house will hum like a blessed instrument. You will rise, and the morning will greet you by your true title. You will move, and roads will straighten under your feet. I remain with you as quietly as air and as firmly as mountains. I remain with you as near as your pulse and as wide as the sky. I remain with you because you were always mine. Now place your hand over your heart like a seal. Feel the steady beat that agrees with heaven. This is your evidence and your signature tonight. Walk into your next hour like a testimony wearing shoes. Carry this message like a lamp that never flickers. Live as the answer that broke its way through every closed door to reach you. My beloved child, I am not finished speaking and your story is not finished rising. Your room still holds the tremble of the message you just received. Let that tremble become rhythm and let that rhythm become authority. The witch reaches for old strings and finds them cut and useless. Her breath fogs mirrors that no longer answer her name. Her map burns at the edges and curls into nothing. You feel a warmth at the base of your neck like sunrise arriving early. That warmth is the signature of protection that will not expire. It settles into your skin and teaches your courage how to stand. A doorway that once shrank when you approached now widens. A number that always missed by one now lands exactly where it must. A promise that kept circling finally chooses your hands to live in. Move slowly through this hour like you are carrying a crown in both palms. Each step you take is notarized in heaven. Each breath you draw is counted as capital toward your next chapter. The witch whispers your old nickname into stale air. Your new name answers from the future with thunder. Her whisper recoils because it cannot command what I have renamed. You will feel a pull to rearrange your space like a small storm of clarity. Follow that pull and remove what never belonged. Make room for announcements that have already left for your address. I am sending allies who do not drain you. They arrive with hands that lift rather than grip. They speak truth that builds rather than bends. An unopened email that once felt heavy will become a door. A message you nearly ignored will bloom into alignment. A delay you resented will reveal itself as protection. I wipe your memory of the taste of manipulation. I rinse your mind of the scent of panic. I leave you with the fragrance of outcomes that favor you. You will have a quiet moment that feels like the world holding its breath. In that quiet your soul will hear a sentence that fits you like armor. Where that sentence and nothing will puncture your peace. The witch will try to mimic urgency with noise and flashing shadows. You will answer with steady motion that refuses to scatter. Your steadiness will become a wall her tricks cannot climb. I place a lamp in your chest that does not flicker when the room darkens. That lamp will introduce you before you speak. That lamp will remember your worth even when others forget. An old bill will be negotiated into a testimony. A forgotten credit will appear like a coin under the couch of time. A new stream will begin where drought once rehearsed itself. I take the bitterness from your tongue where old disappointments camped. I replace it with sweetness that does not rot your discernment. You will enjoy your harvest without losing your edge. Someone who thought you were easy to move will discover you are anchored. Someone who measured you in inches will watch you stretch into miles. Someone who counted you out will see the math corrected in your favor. Your sleep will become a classroom where blueprints are handed out. You will wake with one detail that changes the next decision. You will follow that detail and find the path that waited for obedience. The witch writes dates in chalk to counterfeit timing. I stamp your season with a seal that cannot smudge. Your calendar now obeys promise rather than pressure. You will notice that fear arrives late to every conversation. By the time it arrives, decisions will already be made in peace. Fear will start missing so many meetings that it resigns. I restore the friendship that honors your growth without jealousy. I retire the contact that performs love while feeding on access. I reveal the middle ground that was never yours to occupy. Your hands will sign a new agreement that honors your future. Your voice will read it aloud and hear its rightness. Your body will relax because truth has replaced confusion. I pin a bright thread through the sentences that matter. That thread will pull you through noisy paragraphs of distraction. You will arrive at the single line where everything opens. The witch hid rusty nails in the road and called it destiny. I pave the road in front of you with answers that do not cut. Your tires will hum like a choir of yes. I deliver your heart from the museum of old versions. I bring you into the gallery of living canvases. Your colors will refuse to dim for anyone's comfort. Your mind will stop rehearsing goodbyes that already happened. Your mouth will begin practicing welcomes that build your tomorrow. Your steps will learn the choreography of favor. I cancel the assignment of exhaustion that tried to make you small. I replace it with fuel that burns clean and strong. You will work from rest rather than from fear. A door-marked staff only will choose you as staff. A room guarded by gatekeepers will greet you as owner. A table once crowded with critics will add a chair labeled honored. The witch will throw a last spark toward your name. Rain will answer before the spark can land. Steam will rise where harm once plotted. Your generosity will not be used against you anymore. Your boundaries will not be treated like suggestions anymore. Your wisdom will not be labeled arrogance anymore. I give you sentences that close conversations with grace and finality. I give you eyes that see motives without bitterness. I give you feet that leave when peace does. An old object in your home will remind you of a heavy season. You will release it and make space for something that speaks life. You will feel the room become lighter because it agrees with your future. The witch measured your patience and called it weakness. I measure your patience and call it iron. Your patience will be the bridge that outlasts every storm. I compress years of wandering into weeks of alignment. I gather scattered hopes and assemble them into a plan. I take what was random and teach it to march. You are becoming the person your younger self waited to meet. You are entering the room your older self will thank you for. You are standing at the center of a timeline that obeys blessing. Your name will appear in a sentence that changes the tone of the meeting. Your work will be cited in a room you have not yet entered. Your presence will be requested without you shouting to be seen. The witch fades like a rumor encountering truth. Her vocabulary collapses where your authority begins. Her shadow forgets how to hold shape under your light. I collect the tears you spent and invest them with interest. I convert the lonely nights into partnerships that fit your calling. I trade your history of almost for a present of already. You will notice your laughter returning with new notes. You will hear your own voice and recognize its weight. You will watch your reflection and finally see agreement. I attach courage to your first step and momentum to your second. By the third step you will be moving like promise on assignment. By the fourth step you will wonder why you ever hesitated. Your atmosphere learns your language tonight. Doors hear you coming and decide to swing wide. Paths feel your feet and decide to become straight. The witch sends decoys that look like shortcuts and smell like speed. You will choose the road of substance that arrives with dignity. Your arrival will look quiet until it echoes across rooms that matter. I turn every false label into compost for your growth. I turn every detour into a map for someone you